In the last Activate, we discussed the long-range agenda of the John Birch Society. One part of that included the Get Us Out of the United Nations agenda. We return to this now, since an important issue has come up which threatens the liberty and safety of all Americans. The Biden administration has indicated that they are preparing to sign up the United States to a legally binding accord with the World Health Organization, or WHO. It's called the Zero Draft of the WHO CA+. For those that may not know, the World Health Organization is the directing and coordinating authority for health within the United Nations system. Since the United Nations' overall goal is to create a unified one world government, this is something everyone should be very concerned about. Right on the UN's website, they explain that the WHO is, quote, responsible for providing leadership on global health matters, shaping the health research agenda, setting norms and standards, articulating evidence-based policy options, providing technical support to countries, and monitoring and assessing health trends, unquote. Americans cannot allow the United Nations subsidiary the authority to dictate America's policies during a pandemic. I shudder to think what edicts would be imposed by the WHO during a future pandemic. I can guarantee you that things would be far worse than what we witnessed in 2020 and on. The message I'm delivering today is quite simple. We as Americans can't allow being ruled by those who have no respect for our Bill of Rights. It was bad enough that there were states that had leftist governors and mayors that imposed shutdowns. Thankfully, we also had constitutionally minded governors and mayors and sheriffs which refused to impose shutdowns and the freedom of speech. Under a universal edict by the United Nations, we would lose those safeguards and our rights. The plans of the Biden administration is to place us under UN jurisdiction, completely without constitutional safeguards, the Congress, or any other aspect of American jurisprudence by this proposal. Do not for a second believe that another pandemic cannot be launched upon us. If it does, we cannot be placed under un-American controls by the UN. Under such a condition, the powers that be will say that it is out of their hands and we have to obey WHO and the UN. It could easily destroy our economy as well as our freedom of assembly, press, speech, etc. It could also include forced vaccinations and or quarantining of all citizens. Look to China as an example of what can happen in this regard. It is not pretty where people have been forcibly locked into their apartments to starve to death in the name of stopping COVID. Contact your congressman and voice your opposition to placing us under the jurisdiction of WHO. You can easily do so by going to jbs.org and clicking on Take Action. From there, click on Federal Alerts and then scroll to find the alert titled Stop WHO Power Grab with H.R. 79, H.R. 343, and S. 444. Congress can and must act. U.S. Representative Andy Biggs, Republican of Arizona, has introduced the WHO Withdrawal Act, H.R. 79. And Chip Roy, Republican from Texas, has reintroduced the No Taxpayer Funding for the World Health Organization Act, or H.R. 343. And Senator Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin, has introduced the No WHO Pandemic Preparedness Treaty Without Senate Approval Act, S. 444. Respectively, these bills would withdraw the U.S. from WHO and end all U.S. funding for the WHO, significantly hampering its planned power grab. Contact your U.S. representative and senators, urging them to support these bills and to defund and withdraw from the WHO, and get as many other people to do likewise. For a complete look at the zero draft of the WHO CA Plus and its ramifications, watch Bill Hahn's news analysis video from last week, March 2nd. It's titled, WHO Declares War on Sovereignty, Time to get out. A link will be provided in the description below. The title of this series is Activate America. Stopping the WHO and getting us out of the United Nations is an activity of the John Birch Societies that is necessary to stop the giveaway of the sovereignty of the American people. It's imperative if we want to remain a free and independent nation. Get involved today.